Hey y'all. Do you guys do the hey, hi, it's me, welcome to my channel thing like 3 times before you like how it sounds? Because I always have to do it at least twice. Hey y'all. Hey. Hi y'all. I want to tell you about the book I just read. Read it yesterday. And I also want to answer the books I will probably never read tag. One day I'm going to learn how to do just one thing per video, and then I will have multiple videos to post at a time. That would be crazy. All right, so the book that I read yesterday is The Brief History of the Dead. And it's probably more accurate to say it's like the brief history of a lot of dead people rather than of the dead, but I get it. So in this book, imagine that there are 3 like planes of existence. People who are alive on Earth, people who are kind of in a middle ground where they still are they're dead, but they're in a town and they live there as long as somebody alive remembers them. So think the movie Coco, right? And then you have the 3rd plane, which is once everybody who ever knew them while they were alive is dead. So in this book, you have the people who are kind of in this in-between place, and they start dying off. And in the Earth realm, there's a plague. So one of the theories in the book is the reason why the people are dying off in the middle world is because all the people are dying off on Earth. And there's one woman who's left and she's trying to survive on Earth after this plague. I did not know it was going to be yet another plague book, but it was. So it was a pretty good book. At the end, I liked it all the way up to the end, and I liked the end, but the end didn't seem to quite go along with the theory of what was going on during the book. So does that mean that the theory behind why they were alive and disappearing was wrong? Are we as the reader supposed to figure out that it was wrong without any evidence or way to check our theory? So I liked the book. The book shop guy where I bought it at Judy Bugs in Columbus, Georgia, it was one of his favorite books of a couple of years ago, so he said. I really liked some of the quotes and I liked the concept. I mean, think about for yourself, you know, if you sat down and thought about everybody you have known for your whole life, you know, scouts and in-laws and people that you see on a regular basis who are in your office building, or just everybody who you've ever kind of known, how many people do you think that would be? So if you were the last person alive, how big would the town be of people that were basically waiting to cross over because you still remembered them? So like in this book, her parents are there, her ex-boyfriends are there, her best friend from the 3rd grade is there, but also the random panhandler on the street that she kind of passed by on a regular basis. So it was an interesting book and had interesting things to think about in it. The ending, it was fine. I saw Peter Likes Books do this tag earlier today. And there's only 5 questions, I think. 1, 2, 3, 5 questions. So I figured that I would do them because I like doing tags. So let's see. What's one book, a really hyped book that you'll probably never read? A really hyped book I will probably never read. Probably anything by Sarah J. Maas. I have liked a couple of her books before, but I was not like sort of chomping at the bit to get there. trying to think of something that just comes to mind. Every time a new Harry Potter or Harry Potter related book comes out, everybody's really hyped, and I am so over that world, and I'm Ravenclaw till I die, but I feel like I'm done with that world. Same with the Twilight book that's come out from Edward's perspective. I read the first few chapters when it was leaked a few years ago, and I actually think it was written better. Like, I liked it, and even in that series, you can tell that she grew kind of as a writer and a storyteller, even if the story kind of wasn't that great. But I'm just, for me, typically once I'm done with a world, I'm done with it. So probably not ever going to read any of those books. What's a series or book, a series that you won't start or have started and won't finish, is the way that I'll answer that question. I started the Game of Thrones series. I believe it is 4 published books. It might be 5 published books. I got through 4 it must be 5 published books. I got through 4.5 of those books before I decided that I was working way too hard and not having nearly enough fun for the effort. So I'll never finish that series. I never watched the show. I've seen a couple of clips with Jason Momoa because it's Jason Momoa, but I will never finish that. I probably also won't finish the series about the woman who goes through like the Stonehenge and meets Jamie Fraser. Not Outlander. Yes, Outlander. I'll probably never finish that. I've read 2 of those. Again, they're long. I enjoyed them, but it was more work than it seemed it was worth it. So I probably won't ever finish those. And then a classic. I've been rereading classics over the last couple of years, and I don't think there are any that I wouldn't read, except maybe the ones by Ayn Rand. I've just never been interested. They're also super thick, and I think just leave a bad taste in my mouth in the way that they're used sort of pop culturally to talk about feminism and stuff. I would probably read a Cliff's Notes version, but I'm not that interested. Somebody that I saw who answered these questions said Moby Dick. I would, and at first I was like, yeah, I don't really want to read that, but I probably would. I probably would read it again. So, I don't know. I'm going to stick with the Ayn Rand ones, I think. And the Bible, like, that's a classic book, right? I'm never going to read that front to back. Never going to do it. And then a genre I don't read or have never read. I don't think there are any genres that I've never read or wouldn't read. Mystery is not my favorite because it makes me feel dumb. Because I can never find the clues, if there are indeed clues, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. But I read most things sometimes. So, no. And the last question is a book on my shelf I won't read. So I actually went through all of the shelves, and I don't have any books that strike me as books I won't read unless I bought them for work. So I work with kids and families and pediatricians and all that kind of stuff. So there are some books that I have that I bought as reference books or for research or whatever that I'm not just going to sit down and read, because I don't tend to do that with that kind of book. But I would like to think that all of the books I bought are books I would read. But I do have a video coming up of books that I bought and was really excited about reading, and bought them and then didn't read. So the books I slept on posts will be coming up pretty soon. Okay, so if any of those books are books that you have read and you love them and think I'm completely missing out on something, then tell me. I'm still not going to read it, but you can tell me. Okay, see you next time.